In 2026, I'm going to invite my family, my brothers, my son and his wife, and my grandchildren. I'm going to invite them over for dinner. And then after dinner, we're going to come down to our TV room where I have my 80-inch TV, and I'm going to put on The Godfather. Well, prior to them arriving earlier that week, I redirected The Godfather. Through a collaboration with Adobe, Netflix has given me the ability to submit pictures of my family, my grandchildren, my brothers, my son and his wife and whatever. And I am going to change the parts. I'm going to play Don Corleone. Yeah. And I'm going to have my brother play Luca, what was his name? Luca Sacchi or something, the big brooding guy. I have Nita play my wife. Sonny will probably be my son, and Michael will be my grandson, okay? And so that's what AI is going to deliver to me through a collaboration of Netflix and Adobe. I showed you earlier this week how I was able to go into Adobe Firefly on their website. You can do the same thing. And I put that picture of me, going, and then I asked them to turn it into a lady of the same age, and that's what they gave back to me, like this. That's what's going to be available to you and me in 2026 for our entertainment. And then I'm going to invite the friends whose son is interested in becoming a pilot. I'm going to invite them over, and I'm going to put him in the role of Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Wow. And then put his parents in various other roles. That's what entertainment is going to be in 2026. On the other side of it, you know that they're going to eliminate 300 million jobs. Those are the customer service agents at the banks and Spectrum and AT&T, who leave you on the phone for 45 minutes, shuffling you around trying to get your answer to a simple question. Well, that's all going to be done by AI, and we know who owns those. We know that AI, 40% of it's owned by Microsoft, and we know that Google has created its own version, Workplace, and I'm already using that. So we know what's happening. All we got to do is position ourselves as we're coming into this debt crisis on the 30 stocks that are going to control AI that I've identified in my BUS 12 and BUS 13 portfolios. And then I've done the financial analysis on them. So I know, and then Mark has helped me with the technical analysis. So I've got target prices on every one of them. So as this debt crisis hits us, and as we're already seeing, people are missing their earnings because of the cost of debt has gone up. And so that comes right to the bottom line. And that's probably going to run through this time next year. And as we move through, on my cheat sheet, I've already identified what price technology says I'll be able to buy them for. So I'm ready for 2026. How about you? Yeah. Okay, you haven't done your financial analysis? Oh, and you don't understand technical analysis? I'm sorry. You got a lot of work to do. Or why don't you stay tuned and I'll show you a little bit more how I might be able to help you with this.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, let's start with the 300 million jobs that are going to be replaced. And as I say, we know all the customer service agents are going to go away. And with Elon and his autonomous driving and trucks and that sort of thing, that's 3.5 million truck drivers that probably won't have a job. And the reality is the roads will become much, much safer. They aren't going to crowd you out like the guy who's late and only is allowed to drive 8 hours a day and has a goal to make. And so the roads are going to get safer with them gone. And then you have the Amazon distribution centers and Target and Walmart distribution centers. They're already updating their distribution centers for robotics. And those robotics are driven by artificial intelligence. That's Symbotics. That's the stock that we own in the BUS. Let's see, that would be in the BUS 12 portfolio. They're going to change that. That's going to eliminate, I don't know, maybe another million jobs. All in all, it's roughly 10% of the world's workforce will be replaced by AI. And now I know that's shocking, and you're thinking, well, it's just factory workers and truck drivers. No, 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 no. It's also lawyers. Yeah, lawyers and accountants. They did a test recently in which they had 50 cases for a group of 7 lawyers to review and then give their synopsis on it. And it took them 5 days, and they had, based on the judgment, they had about a 92% accuracy. Well, they gave the same thing to ChatGPT. It did it with a 97% accuracy and did it in 27 seconds. Yeah, that's right. So the lawyers and the legal assistants are probably needing to update their resumes and move on. And then I've recently learned a lot about Intuit's QuickBooks. I don't think I'll be paying my CPA $1,500 to do my accounting in the future. It's all called, I learned a new term. Let me see what it is. It's called the Turing test. And Turing is some guy's name. And basically what it says is, at what point does artificial intelligence able to do a given job that requires intelligence better than a human being? And by 2026, we'll be there. Trust me, we'll be there. So with that in mind, which stocks do I want to own? Well, I know that NVIDIA is probably going to be the provider of the big chips, and Advanced Micro Devices says they'll have a chip, and I believe that'll happen. I also know that Super Macro Computer Systems, they make a computer. I looked this up. It goes for about $30,000, and it has 3,000 parts in it. And this is the computer that has to be used in the data centers in the future to handle artificial intelligence. And then you need to equate into that. There are 3,000 parts. Who makes those parts? Well, that's also part of the cheat sheet that I've put together. I've researched it. I know who's making the conductors and making the heat shields and and moving up to the temperature, the higher temperature silicone or what. I've researched that, and they're part of the Bus 13 portfolio. And I've then asked Mark, and with his assistance, we've done the technical analysis and the financial analysis to see how they're going to fare relative to their prior quarter's projections now with the higher interest rates on their debt, how that's going to come to their bottom line. And then what we anticipate their buy-in price will be as we go through that curve. And that curve's going to take us about this time next year. And that'll all be washed out, and the interest rates will start coming down, and then these things can run. But what's important is what price do we buy in, and how do they fare financially, and which ones of them have enough cash on hand to offset that, to pay off that debt, so that interest rate that used to be 3% and is now 9%, with a tripling in the cost of debt service, who's in a position to pay off that debt and move on? Well, that's also taken into account on my cheat sheet and the financial analysis that I've done on the Bus 12 and 13. Then there's another element that came up. Do you remember the video I did about the nuclear plant that is being built out just south of Augusta, Georgia? And they just opened up, I believe it was on July the 28th. Well, there's a new move of tech wanting to buy land and come to Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Well, why is that? Well, that's because with that new power plant, electricity is going to be a lot cheaper in the South than it is in other places. So we need to key that in to our stock portfolio as well, recognizing that electricity is one of the biggest expenses that these data centers have. And again, if you're spending $35,000 on a super macro computer and it's going to be burning electricity like water, well, you need the cheapest electricity you can get. So you need to factor that in to your equation as you're evaluating these stocks as to at what price and when should I be buying. Again, that's why I developed my cheat sheet. So on my cheat sheet, I have what is the current price, what is the price that I want to buy in, and then over on the far right column, I have a percentage, and that's where the current price is relative to my buy-in price. So I get an alert that says, "Hey, Amazon's down to where we want to buy in." I then go in and buy it. I send out an alert to everybody on my Patreon and my website so that they know that Amazon's hit its target price, and we buy in because Amazon is going to create its own AI experience. We know that. You're going to go to Amazon and you're going to be able to say, "Hey, I need a new computer." And Amazon's going to come back and say, "What are you going to use that computer for?" "Well, I edit videos of about 15 minutes every day, and I use Adobe Photoshop and I use Adobe Rush, and then I have to upload them into YouTube." And Amazon's going to come back, "Well, then this is the three computers that you need to consider." Well, compare them on price and tell me then. And then, oh yeah, Amazon, give me the pros and cons to each of those computers. That's what it's going to be like to buy shampoo on Amazon. We know they're going there. We also know that they have tremendous debt right now, and that's going to increase their debt service. So Amazon's probably going to drop some 20%, and that's our buy-in price. That's how this works. If you can do this. You just go scrub the internet for all the financials of all the stocks that you want to consider for your future portfolio, and then analyze their debt, analyze their ability to pay the debt, analyze what that debt costs them, what their past sales were, and what's their trajectory. And you can figure it out, and then go to your charts. I use Trading Views charts, and put in your MACD and your Scholastic and your Fibonacci retracement, and then buy the software that shows you where the ideal past buy-in and sell-out would be relative to the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages and the 9-day moving average if you're a short-term trader. And you've got it. It's that simple. Look, artificial intelligence is available for you as well as Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. It's available to you. So learn how to use it, or just come to Best of Us Investors. Here's the link down here, and sign up for our platinum level. Here's the box you'll find. There's the box you need to check. It'll cost you $60 a month. Yeah, but if you learn at what price should you buy Adobe, because Adobe is going to put your family in The Godfather, in any movie you want, you're going to be in it. Won't that be phenomenal? It's there. It's coming. You just need to build your arsenal so you can participate in it. This is the .com opportunity all over again, times 10. All right? You couldn't benefit from that because you didn't have the technology on your side back in 1998. You didn't have the ability to analyze Amazon. Amazon wasn't around, Microsoft and Apple at that time. You didn't have that. You got it now. So go get it, or come get on the bus. The choice is yours. Talk to you again more about this, because this is some exciting stuff, because you and I can become multimillionaires if we just understand change.